Doing well. Today's video is going to be a Disney Q&A. Last week I announced I was going to be doing it and I popped it on my YouTube community page, I popped it on Instagram and Twitter last night, and I got all these questions. So without further ado guys, let's get into the video. The questions. So I'm going to go Twitter, Instagram, and then do the YouTube questions last. I will pop everyone's name on the screen right here. There's only one name I can't pronounce, and I think it's just an Instagram handle, not a specific name in general. First up though, I'm going to go to Disney Carnival on Twitter, and they asked favourite and least favourite treat from Disneyland Paris, and then in brackets not including Yoda cookie. Excuse me, I never actually got to try the Yoda cookie because every time I wanted to buy one last year, or just any of those Star Wars snacks, the queues were huge. Inside the Studio One building, next to the big quick service restaurant, there's a little snack bit and the queue was really windy, and I waited for 10 minutes and it didn't move. And I was like, I'm not waiting in a queue that's not going to move for 10 minutes for something that might not be very good. So never got to try those. And in all honesty, I can't say I've really tried very many snacks at all, like snacky things. I've gone to the cable car bake shop, so that's a good shout if you want anything. The muffins and everything are nice if they're out. I did get a donut once that came from Casey's and it was so dry. It came from a fridge. Don't refrigerate donuts because they just go really cold and they're a bit hard. And they're dry, and that was even with Nutella inside of it. It was still bone dry, so that was really bad. Don't get a donut from Casey's. I did have a princess macaron last March from the Pirate and Princess Festival. That was really good. That was, I think, raspberry flavoured. It was pink on the outside and it was pink on the inside. I'm thinking it was raspberry. Didn't taste like strawberry. And a final thing for the adults who are 18 and above, Disneyland Paris seem to do a lot of alcohol beverages to seasons these days, and they're in all the bars across the resort. So I had one at Christmas time, which was very, very good. So I would recommend checking out those as well. So least favourite, that Mingin dry donut from Casey's, and favourite, I'm going to just say the specific alcohol beverages to the seasons. Okay, next up we have Becky Bubbles, and she asks 4 questions. Yes, 4 questions. Favourite hotel at Disneyland Paris? I'm not going to say Disneyland Hotel. It's a gorgeous hotel. It's stunning, but it does need work. It's showing its age a little bit now, but it's gorgeous on the inside. I'm going to go with Sequoia Lodge. Very, very close between Sequoia and Newport Bay, I will point out. Sequoia is just the best. The smell when you walk in, the fireplace in the bar area, the rooms are lovely, the placing of it, I just really love it. And I really love the whole, the setting as well, the woods and stuff. It's just really, really great. Love it. Next, my current favourite film and soundtrack. Current favourite film? I don't know. I've watched so much stuff since I've been off. I'm currently furloughed, so I'm actually not working. I don't even know which week number this is at this point. But I'm watching all the Marvel movies at the moment. Me and my housemate Laura, we're going through them in like the chronological order. So I'm kind of really enjoying Marvel movies at the moment. As for soundtracks, I don't tend to listen to soundtracks. I'll listen to maybe the odd artist or whatever. So I can't even give a soundtrack. But there's an album specific that's not Disney at all. And it's just an album. And it's Niall Horan's album from One Direction, Heartbreak Weather. It's a very good album, so check it out. I know it's not a soundtrack, but it's an album I've gone back to quite a few times during this lockdown period. Next question. One ride that I could get rid of if I could. One ride I'd get rid of. I should have really thought about these questions before I sat down to film this, shouldn't I? I'm just going to say something like the magic carpets in the studios, because there's Dumbo already, and Dumbo's so iconic that you could have done easily something else in that space instead of basically a Dumbo rip-off ride. And then the final question from Becky is plans to visit once the parks reopen. I'll actually tell you, I did have a trip planned now. It was planned for October, but nothing was actually booked. I was going to go the first week of October for Halloween, but even if the parks open at that point, I'm not going to go. I won't feel safe enough to go, I don't think, despite all the things in place. We have no idea when they're going to open borders between countries and things like that. So I did have one planned for October, so it'll probably be next year. It will be Disneyland Paris. I am still saving, so I'll just have more money to save up and stuff like that. I'll have more money by that point as well anyways. So I do have plans. It will be next year though. I would say it's going to be next year now, which is fine. I don't mind waiting. Health and safety and all that. Next up, Alison, keep Cam and Ali on, I think is their Twitter handle. She says, if you could live within any Disney movie, what and why? Beauty and the Beast, Enchanted Castle. That's the answer for that one. A theme for a new park. I am not an idea man whatsoever. I am incredibly bad. I feel like Disney kind of get it right all the time. I honestly couldn't even... A theme for a park. I'm going to have to pass on it because I cannot think. If I think, while I'm editing, I'll pop something on the screen. If not, it'll just say, sorry, couldn't think. And the final question is, if I could eat at any Disney restaurant right now, what would it be? Well, as you all know, I've only ever been to Disneyland Paris. I'm going to say Inventions, just because of where it is, and you can see the castle, and you get characters, and it's a buffet, and it's a lovely restaurant, and I've got some really great memories from Inventions, so I'm going to have to say Inventions. So that's the Twitter questions. Next, we will move on to the Instagram ones. So first up, Emma asks, when are we going to meet? Not a Disney question, but who knows, Emma? I believe you're down the other side of the country, but I'm sure we will at some point one day. We will meet. That's a promise. Katie asks, my favourite place to eat. It kind of ties in with the question I just answered, doesn't it? But I do really enjoy the places that sell steak. Sorry, you vegetarians out there. I really enjoy Bistro Chez Remy, and the steakhouse I believe is completely underrated. The steakhouse in the village, if you've not been, go. One of the best Caesar salads I've ever had in my life. Go. So there you go. Now this is the name I can't pronounce. I'm going to pop it on the screen. And they have asked, would I consider going to a Disney park in Asia and which one? Honestly, the dream. The dream is to visit all the Disney parks in the world at some point. But I think if I was to pick one of them, I would have to say Tokyo, just because it's got two Disney parks. You've got Tokyo Disneyland, Tokyo Disney Sea. Yeah, it's got to be Tokyo Disneyland. It just looks incredible. And I'm going to mention her again. This Natasha has many Tokyo Disneyland vlogs on her Instagram, on her YouTube. Go and check those out, they're amazing. And also a shout out to Sisters who has Hong Kong Disneyland vlogs on hers. So, which I know they're quite difficult to come across, Hong Kong Disneyland vlogs, but she has a few on her channel, so check those out too. Next up, Jordan asks a lot of questions. Now he's put Disney hacks. I don't really know what that means. I should have really messaged Jordan and asked what he meant by the Disney hacks question. I'm going to take it on the fact that he maybe means... I honestly don't know. Disney hacks. I've got like a whole like hints and tips video if he means something like that. So feel free to go and check that video. I'll link it down below. I've got loads of Disney tips and hints and everything for going to the parks, if that's what you mean. Comfy shoes, get an annual pass if you're going to go loads and loads and loads, stay off site because it's cheaper, or if you're going on holiday, you know, fill out the room so that, you know, the more people in the room, the less you have to pay. If that's what you mean, please let me know, Jordan, if you watch this video. Something I do before a Disney trip. I like to get really organised for a Disney trip, and the last few times I've been really organised and booked all my restaurants for different things. So I'll be like, we're going to this restaurant at this time, and I'll use, you know, I'll phone up or I'll do it online and get it all sorted. So I mean, we have normally one table service a day, and then the rest will kind of just wing it and go to either I'll go to quick service or something like that and fill in the gaps. So that's something I do, because I know that Jordan said he listens to like music in the car because I think he lives close to Walt Disney World. So yeah, I think it's a bit more difficult, but I book lots of restaurants and like to sort of pre-plan things out. If I lived 10 minutes from Disney World, would I, if I could, and do I think I'd tire of it? If I could, I think anybody would live near any Disney park if they could, to be honest. And I don't think I'd tire of it, because I think if I did, I would probably take a step back. And with somewhere like Disney World, there is so much to do anyways. You would obviously become an annual pass holder, because if you could just drive there, you would do that. And there's always different stuff to do, especially if you were just going day by day. So, as I say, I would do it if I could. Tire of it? Don't think so, because there's so much to do with seasons and different things on. But if I did, I would just take a step back. Will I ever get to Walt Disney World? At some point, but it's not the next Disney park I actually want to go to. It's not next on the list, but it will be at some point. And finally, what's my Disney bucket list? To visit every Disney park in the world. That is my Disney bucket list. I just don't know how long that'll take. Probably a long time, knowing me, because it's very difficult to save. And finally, the questions from YouTube. So Katie Smith asks 3 questions. What's on my Disney wish list? I would say I don't buy a lot of stuff, but the shelves behind me say otherwise, and then the other shelf in front of me. There's a couple of Disney Showcase collection figurines I want. So there's it's the Beast, but in Prince form, and he's holding a mask. They're called like Masquerade. He's he's stunning. He's really, really good. And then there's a Belle in the same sort of style, but she's not holding a mask, and she's in a village town look. So there are 2 figurines that I really, really would like. I'm not going to say want, I'm going to say would like. I think that's it. I kind of go for like limited edition-y things. I'll always go for like Beauty and the Beast mugs if they ever release them. I normally tend to buy them. Yeah, I'm not as crazy as I used to be, like way back when. If you go way back on my channel, I had Disney hauls up all the time. Almost every month at one point. It was insane, but not so much anymore. So I've kind of, restrained myself as of recent. My unpopular Disney opinions. Okay, I'm going to give 3. Okay, I don't like the movie Hercules. And everyone's going to rip me to shreds in the comments for that one. I'm just not a fan. I was thinking about why, and I think it's because I never seen it as a child, and I don't have the nostalgia to it that I do to a lot of the other Disney movies that I seen as a child, because you sort of have an attachment and you grow up and you love those movies. But when I seen this one a few years ago, I was like, it's just a bit The songs are good, the muses are fantastic, Hades is amazing. I just wasn't a fan of Hercules or Meg, and they're the main people, so I'm sorry. Number 2, I really shouldn't have said I was going to do 3. Oh, I also don't really like Zootropolis either. Didn't care for it. Or Zootopia, in whatever part of the world you come from. My unpopular Disney opinions. I'm just going to leave it at that, because I'm really, really bad, and I don't want to like criticize things too much, like there's no point in being so negative in times like these, I guess. So those are a couple of movies that I don't particularly like. Oh, and also The Rescuers Down Under is terrible. I cannot stand that movie at all. I found it quite creepy. I didn't like it. And the final question is my favourite land in Disneyland Paris and why. I thought about this question so much when I got it, when Katie popped it on my little post on YouTube. I was like, oh, I've answered this question before, and the answer I gave back then was Discoveryland. It's gorgeous, the theming is insane, it's incredible. I didn't want to go specific and say Fantasyland like many people probably would say, but I really love Adventureland. Looking up, if you're standing if there's a bridge near the Robinson Treehouse and it crosses over, if you stand on that bridge and you look up, you can see the Pirates of the Caribbean flag, you can see the ride, not the ride, but the outside of the building of the ride. You can see Skull Rock. It's just stunning. So I'm going to change my mind and say Adventureland this time. There you go. Next up, Joseph asks, my favourite live-action Disney film. I'm biased, it's Beauty and the Beast because it's my favourite Disney movie of all time. I know people will disagree with that answer, but everyone is allowed their opinion. I actually quite liked Emma Watson as Belle, but I love Emma Watson though, and I really liked Hermione and Harry Potter because I love Harry Potter as well. But there could have been a better Belle, I'm not going to lie. She was fine, but there would have been better Bells if they'd picked somebody else. And the other question has many parts to it. It says, which attractions are you excited to ride at each park? This is a big question. I like to think I know a bit about the other Disney parks because I've watched so many vlogs, so I'm going to try and answer this question. So for Hong Kong Disneyland, I'm going to say Mystic Manor. It's a take on the Haunted Mansion style. Give the ride, like a search for the ride on YouTube, Mystic Manor, and it looks amazing. Shanghai Disneyland, it's going to be either Pirates of the Caribbean or Tron. They both look insane. For Tokyo, I'll try and pick something specific to Tokyo. Pooh's Honey Hunt. My cat's just in his tunnel, so that's just the crinkly noise of the tunnel. So Pooh's Honey Hunt in Tokyo Disneyland. Disney Sea, not too sure. Maybe Journey to the Centre of the Earth, maybe. For Walt Disney World, oh, there's so many parks in Disney World. Let me think. For Epcot, I'm just going to be really basic and say Frozen Ever After. For Animal Kingdom, I'm going to have to say Avatar, Flight of Passage. Magic Kingdom, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. Hollywood Studios, Rise of the Resistance. I've got to write that right. And for Disneyland, California Adventure, I'm going to say the Cars ride, Radiator Racers. And for Disneyland itself, oh my god, I'll pick the Matterhorn because that's like only in Disneyland, isn't it? So I'll go with the Matterhorn. I hope that answers your question. There you go. Linda F asks one question. Which new area of Disneyland Paris are you excited for? I hope it's not postponed. It will be postponed. I hope they don't cut anything out. Disney's lost a lot of money with the parks being closed. I'm going to say the Frozen section because we're going to get to see a Marvel Land really soon in Disneyland Resort because I know that they are a lot further ahead on theirs than we are. I think they were quite close to opening it, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to the Frozen Land. It's going to be amazing. There's going to just be this gorgeous big lake. You're going to have the Frozen castle at the far end that you're going to be able to see. There's going to be a ride. There's a restaurant. There's a meet and greet. This is just all that I've read. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be good, right? And the final few questions come from Fern F. Everyone has F as their last name. My favourite shop Disney purchase and why? I'm looking at my Beauty and the Beast shelf. My designer dolls, hands down, my designer dolls. I love them so much. They're just gorgeous. I'm not going to pick between the two. I'm just going to say both because they were very difficult to get as well. But my designer dolls. I do have reviews up on them, Fern, if you haven't seen those. So yeah, I've got review for each doll. So they're my favourite purchases. And if I could design a ride based on a Disney film of your choosing, what and why? Now, I think this one's easier to answer than the other question of a Disney park, because a ride's easier. Oh, my legs are going dead. So, based on a Disney film, if you're choosing what and why? See, I think you could design something like... Let me look at my movies. I just think that you could really elevate some of like the classic movies into like really good, sophisticated dark rides, especially with what they've done in like Tokyo with Pooh's Honey Hunt. Go and check out a video of that ride if you've never seen that one before. And obviously with elevated Peter Pan's Flight at Shanghai Disneyland, you could really do something amazing with any of those classic old films, 100%. And I've kind of got a rough idea on the question of would I consider going to... No, not that one. What is it? Theme for a new park. I've got one. It's going to be a really small park. It's going to be a water park, but I would have to say Cuscotopia because I just thought of it just there. Cuscotopia from The Emperor's New Groove. It was supposed to be like a water park. Cuscotopia. There you go. A new water park. That one. See, for this question, I would have said Beauty and the Beast, but it's going to open very soon in Tokyo Disneyland when it reopens. They've already created an amazing dark ride. So just a dark ride along those lines. You could make one for Sleeping Beauty, you could do one for 101 Dalmatians, you know, Chasing Cruella de Vil down, something like The Rescuers, like a water ride, going through the story of it, and, you know, in the Leaf, when Bernard and Bianca are in the Leaf, zooming across like the lake or whatever it is they're zooming across. I've only seen the movie once, but that really stuck in my head. So you could have something like that too, just a really old classic film that you could really elevate with the technology we have these days. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Fern. Please let me know if I did answer it. And that is all the questions. I hope I haven't rambled on too long. I really hope I haven't. And that's it for this video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that I answered your questions well enough for you. If I didn't, please let me know in the comments down below. But if you did enjoy the video, give it a big thumbs up. As I say, comment down below, hit the big red subscribe button, tap the little bell so you are notified every time a video goes live. And that's it. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.